So kind of silly example here. I played baseball for 8 years as a kid. I got 4 trophies a year, no matter, and they were always participation trophies. They were never like, you did a good job, because I was terrible at baseball. I like had a 0 batting. I was awful, right? But I wasn't not athletic. I was just really bad at baseball. But I thought I was good because I had a rack full of trophies. Started playing tennis, didn't really get any trophies. Became a tennis instructor for 10 years. I'm a very good tennis player. I think I have 1 trophy. So it's very confusing to a kid when you get all these accolades and wonderful things that you didn't earn at all. I think if a coach had been merciful with me and said, "Hey, bud, you're terrible. Go pick a different sport," it would
like,
have saved me 5 years. This,
and you get to a point where you kind of know, right? Like, I didn't do as good as the guy who won first. You know what I mean? Like,
but we got the same trophy. So what's going on?
Well, yeah. So like, I remember the first time I ran into that, where I was a kid, but I was just like incensed beyond all measures. My first Junior Olympics, and I spent the whole summer like I was like one of those freaks who like goes off to camp, like some training camp, and never comes home type of thing. I was there like 12 hours a day, and I worked really hard, and I had to win like 9 matches, and I got bronze. I got 3rd place. And then they handed out all these participation trophies at the Junior Olympics in the United States to all the kids who lost like the first round, second round, whatever. And they got like this pewter colored medal, same medal, just the same logo and everything, same size. And it almost like bronze. And I was like so pissed. I'm like, I had to win 9 or 8 or 9 matches. I've been sparring for like, because you have to go and you're a huge class, so you got to like wait for hours to the next match. And I mean, it's this huge ordeal. I was like 9 or 8 at the time. And I just remember thinking like, are you kidding me? Like, they're getting this basically the same medal as me, and not that I'm like some special gift to the world or whatever, but like I earned 3rd place, and I'm still not even the best. This guy beat me, he got
George
first.
Was super pissed at you, Dustin.
Yeah.
I was that millennial.
But I mean, like, I kind of like looked at the other kids, but I still remember like the other kids weren't like excited about getting this trophy. Because they knew they lost. You know what I mean? It's like, and so it just
made their mom feel better.
I guess.
Right, it made the parents feel better. That's all. Yeah, exactly.
Congrats.
Becky felt great about it.
But I'd still argue like even the guys who lost the first round, they still learned something about themselves that they probably take to this day. Like, hey, I made it to the Junior Olympics. You have to win at state. You have to win at like regionals. You have to win all these to even get there. And then you're still competing against the best. So even to just try yourself against the best, even if you just get creamed, you still learn something more about yourself than never trying it in the first place, right?
So I think that ties into what my definition of becoming a man for me was failing consistently and getting through those failures, getting burned by that fire, that sadness of failing and and getting through that. And that to me, I think, was when I realized I've achieved manhood, because I've gotten over these really difficult things. And if somebody just given me a trophy and said, well, you didn't fail, you did fine, don't worry about it. And no, I needed to understand I failed. I lost. I did not win. Other men did better than me. I can rank myself against that. And I learned that. And then that was a crucial moment for me. Because that was a lot of that was hidden for me as a child. I had a single mom who, didn't want to see me fail, didn't want to see me cry. She coddled me a lot. And I love my mom. She, she did a great job. She's wonderful. But a lot of the environment that I was put in was designed to never help me understand that I had failed or that I wasn't good at something. Everything I did was equal. So things I was really good at, you're good at. Okay. But I didn't know I was better at that than things. It's very confusing for a young man or a young boy when you don't let them know, wow, you're good at this and this you're not so good at. You need that feedback. And it was tough.
And you're still loved. God still loves you.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the key, of course. You don't not love your son because he failed. That's the other end of that spectrum. That's
right. But I think that's what drives, when people don't have Christ, like, this stuff matters. That freaking T-ball trophy matters. Everything matters. Because I don't have a real foundation. So my accomplishments are my value. And if I haven't accomplished, I have no value. Now, obviously, for those in Christ, this is where we're supposed to be able to go. I did fail, which is what Dustin's able to talk about. Like, I failed, but I don't have to feel defeated. I don't have to feel worthless. Like, God loves me.
Yep.
I'm still secure in the Father's hand. Now with that, I have freedom to move forward again and try again, because this thing wasn't a definition. The grade I got on the report card, thank God my parents didn't use my report card as a value system for my worth. And same thing with my boys. Like, if they can't succeed at something, I say, did you give it your best? No, sir. All right, then I'm not happy. That's unacceptable. But did you give it your best? Yes, sir. I love it. You know, and that was a phrase I've gotten used to saying with them when they would lose a wrestling match or lose anything. I'd say, I love watching you wrestle.
Yeah.
I love watching you wrestle, son. Go out there and fight.
Yeah. And for me, failing, losing, and suffering were the only things that grew me growing up. And so, like, one of the things I've been intentional with my son now that he's starting to get older and he's starting to come more into this world, like, I had to pick up the slack of his soccer coach. His soccer coach just vamped, disappeared. Nobody was picking it up. So I picked up that title. I became his soccer coach. And every time they lost, I told them they lost. They said, did we win? It was 3-4. I said, no, you lost. And here's where we can improve. And so, like, one of the things I'm intentional with is, like, letting my son understand he's losing or he's failing. And, like, I'll ask him, I want him to be comfortable with the thought of failing, because failing is totally normal. It's first attempt in learning. That's the way I look at it. And so, like, I say, son, what'd you fail at today? And if he comes back and says, oh, I didn't fail at anything, I'm like, man, you know, like, I'm not disappointed, but I'm like, man, I just wish you were, you know, I wish you would have failed in something or tried something.
Tried at something, boy.
Yeah. And like, I'll always applaud the effort, but I'll always say, hey, look, you know, from a loving perspective, this is what you can get better on. And this is how you can fix this part, you know? And so I'm just slowly dipping him into that water that the world is, you know, where failure and brutality and just chaos and everything else is, you know, you got to prep them somehow. And I feel like suffering is one of those things you slowly integrate them into, because you can't just let them just be traumatized. But yeah, either way. So John, I think you were wanting to add something to that.
Go ahead, John, Michael, and then I got something on the whole failure thing after that.
Yeah. As a dad, I've had to learn, again, to get away from androgyny and to stop living just like a parent, but to be a father. And I've had to be mindful of Natalie's strengths, to encourage those, to receive those, but to not let those overrule mine. Natalie's a nurturer. That's what a mama is supposed to be. She's supposed to be nurturing and gentle. But if I defer to her too much, she's going to hear me say strong things to our sons. And if she's not careful, she could try and overrule. Oh my goodness, you can't say that to him. That was no. I reassured my love. I reassured his value, but he's still going to hear truth from his father. He's still going to hear strength. And of course, that's a great buffer there for Natalie to say, hey, if there's times where daddy is too intense, you know, for Natalie to gently follow up with me later. Hey, babe, I think it was a lot. I think it was heavy. I think whatever. And I'm able to process again, so that he's not coddled. And at the same time, so that he's not exasperated, right? So that his father doesn't place demands on him and treat him like a grown man when he's not. But that's something that I've enjoyed with Natalie, us both growing in over the years, appreciating what one another bring. And it's hard for her because she is a mama and she only has 3 boys, and she knows. And I've continued to talk with her like, baby, they're going to have to slay dragons. They're coming up in a harder world, a more difficult world, and we've got to prepare them for war. So, like, even whenever I have the boys wall sit, if somebody's been disrespectful or hit their brother or out of control, instead of a spanking or instead of whatever else, I go, hey, is that funny when you hurt your brother? And if they're laughing about something, go wall sit. Let's see if it's funny.
That's good.
And I'm calm, but he's sitting there and he's chuckling for the first 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 6 minutes in, he starts tearing up. And this is when Natalie has a hard time sometimes. And but in recent years, she's looked at him going, this is good for you. This is one of the easiest things you'll ever do in your life. And I'm just like, she sees it. I don't want to make her harsh,
right?
But she's still tender, she's still feminine, but it's helpful to understand the dynamics, but to not cave. I think in a lot of marriages, it's tempting for dad to be overruled. Mom go, oh my goodness, honey, and he's, oh, you can't do that with him all the time, sweetie. Don't back up, Dad. You know, we're not trying to be offensive, but we need to be strong.
Yeah. So I'd love to kind of segue from that. So two things. One is you highlighted the beauty of the balance between how God created women and how God created men, and we are naturally harsher. You know, we're very task oriented. We see the goal, we see the vision, we want to push towards it. You know, no matter the cost, type of thing. And then your wife is a beautiful, complementing creature that's going to help rein you in sometimes. And so that balance creates a great environment for kids. But the second too, like you said, is you're still You're still in charge, right? You're the leader, and a leader's job is to drive out excellence from his subordinates. And in this case, not in a authoritative sense, but it's an act of love. It's an act of servant leadership to understand that it's pain today that you're going to feel, but because I love you and I care about you being better than you are today, I know that you need to experience it and go through this struggle, because when you come out the other side, you'll have learned something that only this can teach you. And so, I've learned that heavily from the military sense, right? I still combat it today as a commander in the Guard, where, oh, sir, that's too much. You can't have them do that. That's exactly what they need to do.